Hey guys, Dave here. So the vid I've been wanting to do for a long time, finally today I am ready for. You guys know I got the one-off custom drop point. Greg offered it up a while back and I jumped at the chance to get it. Cannot be a more proud owner. Absolutely love this knife. And you guys know I said in the original vid that I was going to be holding off, using this one until, and it is difficult because I do love this knife, but I was going to be holding off using it until I got the one that I already had on order when I bought this one. And they had a couple of problems. They had some problems with their outsourcing on the MP3 coating. And so without further ado, Greg did just feature this in a video called Terminator's Praetorian, I think is what it was called, or Terminator's Praetorian tie. And so I did finally get my Tanto. This was what I wanted, which was just plain Jane. I wanted, kind of like what he talked about. It was funny that he mentioned a white truck, that he's a white pickup truck guy. Well, that's exactly what I drive, is a white pickup truck. I'm, meat and potatoes guy, and just could not be happier to get this one. I do have a G with OD peel ply G10 and flame treated on this side. That's also on order with MP3 blade. And that should be just like a couple more months. It's not much left on that, just 2 months maybe. But yeah, the reason I've been wanting to do this vid is because I really wanted to see. I know that there are other drop points, but none of them are the tie. This is the only one. I am, proud for that reason. And I am very happy to have it. I actually gave him another idea that I would like to get, and I'm hoping that he will agree to at least try it out. So. But this one's just absolutely ridiculous. 3/16 tie. You guys know the Praetorian. It is just a beast. 0.27 thick D2. The Tanto blade, of course. I call it the Tanto, or Praetorian tie Tanto because I have the drop point. So I know most people just call it the Praetorian tie, but because I own the drop point, I have to differentiate between the two. So just absolutely bead blasted. Titanium sides, stainless hardware, absolutely as smooth as butter. And yeah, you just can't get over this knife. Anybody that has one, it's just a tank. And the lockup on this thing is so ridiculous. It's probably between 5 and 10%. Should break in nicely and just be a perfect companion. I've already had a couple of offers on this, and yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see because nobody wants to wait, but it's just one of those deals where once you get it in hand, it's kind of hard to part with. So I'm gonna have to do some serious considering on it. But this knife is absolutely unbelievable and every bit as good as I hoped it would be, the way it turned out. So awesome job, Greg, everybody at the shop. You guys are just pumping out the sick work. You guys know I'm a big fan. And Fat Daddy order is definitely, probably call you on Monday and place my order for the Fat Daddy. Cannot wait to get that one too. And I definitely like the bigger versions of the knife. I did want the Praetorian G just so that so that I could compare, so that I did have a lighter version, thinner version, everything else. But you guys, you just don't, I guess until you get one in your hand, until you see it, you just don't realize this knife is kind of, to me, and this is just my opinion, guys, it's just in a class by itself. It really is. The knife is just a tank. And yeah, this one's going to be hard not to hold on to, not to carry. It's going to be hard to use the drop point just because it is, one of a kind. But this one, I'd have no problem just beating this to death. Like Greg said, this thing's so tough. You could probably beat somebody to death with it just using the back of the knife. This thing it's a tank. So I just want to try to break this down a little bit. You guys will see that they are very similar in size. I think that the Tanto is actually, I thought the other day I posted some pictures on Instagram, and when I posted the picture, I actually thought the drop point was a little bit longer, but I think it's just barely. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, like a, you know, maybe a 16th, maybe even a 32nd longer. The Tanto is longer. So that's probably just the way the grind came out, whatever. You know, they're based on the same platform. You guys can see both knives. And, you know, just the way, I mean, Greg even showed in the original video on this one about how this concept came about. You know, of course, this was originally a mistake. The guy wanted a drop point in the thinner, you know, in a G or an A. I can't remember which. But, you know, they went on making a tie, and of course, you know, when the bill came up and, you know, he said, hey, I didn't order that, you know, then of course Greg offered it up, and that's when I got a chance to grab this one, and I did jump at the chance. So, but you can see just by looking at the two, obviously, you know, thickness and everything, 0.27 D2, they're exactly the same everywhere here. The really big difference is just blade shape. You know, I don't know the angles and everything for the, you know, difference between the two, but blade length, you know, appears to be pretty much the same. You know, of course, one's the Tanto and one's the drop point, but I did want to go ahead and get out the tape measure, and I thought I would go ahead and just measure so you guys know. But sharpened edge length on the drop point appears to be about 3 3/4, and then to the end it's just, you know, you can see it's maybe a 1/16 longer to the end of the grip. Sharpened edge length, I don't know, it might be just shy of 3 3/4. And total length, including total length of the knife, not including glass breaker, is about 8 5/8. And then including glass breaker, it is right at just over 9 inches. 9 1/16 is probably what it is. And on the drop, I mean on the Tanto, you'll see very similar. Actually, you know, blade length, you know, of course if you go blade length this way, it's going to be slightly different. But blade length, sharpened edge length, you're looking at about 3 3/4. They're very similar, and overall, just total, they're very similar. So it really just comes down to which one you prefer, the drop point or the Tanto. But very similar. I thought I would go ahead and get out the scale. I had posted some stuff on the drop point when I got it on USN, and the big question was weight. And so I thought I would get these out, and let's just go ahead and do the drop point first. And if you guys can see that, that is 11.95. I guess I got some glare there, but 11.95, you guys can see. Sorry, there you go, you can see a little bit better, 11.95. So let's see how close this one is. The Tanto is, obviously, it is just barely a little bit longer, so it does come in just slightly heavier. 12.15. So not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart by any stretch of the imagination. I know there's a lot of talk about edge geometry and everything else when it comes to these knives because they are overbuilt, they are thick, hollow grinds. But, you know, to me, I think the thing that gets lost in the conversation is this is not just your traditional, you know, I need something to cut with. They're plenty sharp. They will cut, you know, what you need to get cut. But, you know, I mean, are they, you know, the best knives in the world for, you know, I mean, I'm sure they're not the best knives in the world for every single task that's out there. That's why there are so many different types of knives, because, you know, that's the point of having different types of knives. These knives, guys, were not meant to be used by just your everyday, you know, Joe. They are meant to be used. These are, I mean, in case you guys didn't know, Medford makes knives for combat. They are made for heavy, hard use, and so they're not for everyone. Now, of course, everybody loves the look of them. Why wouldn't you? They do look like, you know, just tanks of, I mean, they really are. They're just beasts. And what's not to like about the way they look? But I'm sure that you can get, especially on this drop point, you could just have a, very sharp edge for a hollow grind, and would probably do maybe a little bit better than probably the Tanto would. So, but I mean, don't get too much caught up. I mean, to me, people that are, going after these knives, you're probably going to have some type of, I mean, even these that get carried, they're going to have backup knives. They're going to have backup fixed blades. And, so everybody thinks about just having this one knife. Okay, well, that's fine. If you just have the one knife, maybe they aren't for you. Maybe they're too overbuilt. Maybe they're too heavy. But if you want a knife that, I mean, you could use this thing to pry with. I mean, you can use this thing for a ton of different things. Obviously, the Skull Striker, it is beefy. The way they make these, with the titanium, the MP3 coating on the blade, I talked about this when I got the drop point. I mean, these things would be good in water just because, I mean, you got stainless hardware, titanium, sides, and you have MP3 coating on the blade. I mean, they're very corrosion resistant the way this knife is made. So I absolutely do love this knife. I can't, I mean, you won't find a prouder owner. So thanks again to everybody at Medford. Greg, really enjoyed talking to you. I hope you come up with something on my idea that we discussed, and I'll be talking to you again soon. But you guys just knock it out of the park again. Kristen was very helpful the whole time when I was buying this, and I know she's not there anymore. But anyways, thanks to Kristen as well, and also to Amy for finishing it up and getting it shipped out to me and everything else. But yeah, I just cannot be a happier owner to have the drop point and the Tanto Praetorian tie. These things are just absolutely sick. Love the knife. And like I said, yeah, you won't find a prouder owner, man. These things are just beasts. And yeah, I know I have an offer to buy this, but I'm telling you, once you get it in your hand, I can't imagine parting with this knife, man. This thing is just nasty. And I think, it's not for everybody to carry because they are heavy, but man, I just can't imagine not carrying this Tanto now that I have it in my hand. Like I said, I would carry the drop point if it's the only one that I had, but the drop point being one of a kind, chances are I will just carry this Tanto, and it'll definitely be the one for me. This one is, I may send this raw D2 Skull Striker glass breaker back and have it coated in MP3. This one did get coated in MP3. So I mean, basically, like I said, stainless hardware, the awesome titanium pocket clip, just sick retention on this thing, just unbelievable retention, and yeah, you just can't find a tougher knife. So super impressed. Cannot wait to get more Medfords. I have my Nav T custom. I have my, both of these. I'm going to have the Praetorian G, the Fat Daddy, and then there'll just be more. So I can't wait. Hopefully I get some more Praetorian. I'm probably going to order another Praetorian tie just because I do like the knife that much. It's just a beast, man. So thanks again. Appreciate everybody at Medford. You guys are awesome, and can't wait to get more knives from you soon. So thanks. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. I'll talk to you guys again soon.